But let's start things off with an interview from North Texas football coach Seth Luttrell.
We found something that was working and kept going back to it and ended up being a good job. And again, that's a lot of credit to Brad Davis, our offensive line coach, and what those young men in the locker room are doing. They're working hard to get better every single week.
The Mean Green went to West Point and pulled off a huge upset victory over Army, 35-18.
UNT has always suffered against an air raid offense, but since they were running the ball, they thrived in this triple read option. They had 7 takeaways, 4 interceptions, and 3 fumbles. That says it all right there. I mean, your defense won this game for sure.
And like he was saying, the defense actually has improved all across the board. Last year teams were averaging 41.2 points against zero. This year teams are only averaging 27.1. Get credit to the defensive coaching staff.
Good things about Dak and Zeke for that matter. I mean, just the bigger the stage gets, the better they play in critical times. And I think you tell a lot about a guy when he faces a little adversity, and we all go through it, and we've all been humbled in this game at times. And I still thought Dak did a good job.
We just heard from Cowboys tight end Jason Witten.
Dak actually had a lot of pressure on him, and he didn't perform his best statistically speaking. But when it comes down to performance, he performed very well, and he won the game for us.
I mean, yeah, in that game, his completion percentage was 48.7, so definitely that wasn't a good game for him. But when they counted the most in overtime, he was 5 for 5 for 56 yards, hitting Jason Witten in the end zone. That was very huge.
Yeah, and that's where I want to keep it, because Dak, it's kind of he had a rough game, but then he came through in the clutch. So do you think he's done enough at this point to solidify himself as the starting quarterback for the Cowboys?
I don't know that he's done a lot, but with him playing so well, he gives Romo extra time to get healed. Because Romo actually could play this week, but since Dak Prescott's been playing good this game, Romo, come back when you're 100%.
This is what college football is about. It's Michigan, it's Ohio State, best game of the year, one of the best games I've seen in a while.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Josh. And that game, it was beautiful. It had everything. Like you said, it had the rivalry. The stage was set. Everything was on the line. And also Jim Harbaugh yelling at the refs. Best time of my life. But other than that, it was also suspenseful, especially in overtime when Michigan was 4th and goal and Wilton Spate out of nowhere gets a touchdown pass. And all of a sudden you're thinking, oh my goodness, Michigan can win this. And they can probably take Ohio State out of the playoffs. All of a sudden, 4th and 1, and they go in. And Ohio State, I'm thinking, they'll get a field goal, and we're going to go back into overtime again. Nope, they go for it. And controversial play in my opinion, but overall, great effort by the team.
Yeah, let's talk about that 4th and 1, because I agree. I think it's very controversial. You had J.T. Barrett running to the left side, and he kind of runs into the butt of a blocker, right? And he gets all of a sudden jolted backwards. What did you think? First down? Did you agree with the spot? How do we feel?
I think it was a first down. When watching the game, I was like, there's no way he got that. And the replays, there's no way they could overturn it. But then I was scrolling through the internet, and it was an Ohio State fan blog, but they had a picture of it super zoomed in, and you could see when he bumps into the guy, there was like the tip of the ball was like a little brown speck was right in front of that yellow line. And so from that, I'm like, okay, it's a first down. I just think maybe we need lasers in the football, or
like a little microchip
we need some
there.
Other way to measure what a first down is in football, other than this caveman style.
Yeah, never trust someone from Ohio State. I mean, always getting. That's why we have neutral
bad
people.
Blood with the Buckeyes for some reason.
It was not a first down, and I don't believe it. I mean, watching the replay, and I saw it in slow motion, and it didn't look like it. The ball did not cross the line.
Going back, Cortland Sutton, he was dominant for SMU, really. And my question to you is he really that good, or did our secondary make him look a little bit better than what he actually is?
I think Sutton's the real deal. I mean, 8 catches, 163 yards. He's standing at 6'4", so in the conference, he's going to be going a lot bigger than anyone UNT is going to look at this year. I think the problem was the secondary was kind of a little bit riding the hype train. They were ill-equipped to guard him, and they kind of had some problems getting miscommunication and not having the right positioning on him. And so they struggled a little bit going deep.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely one of the best receivers in the country. He's going to go first round. But I feel like our secondary didn't do a good job for us tackling him, rallying to the ball. They had bad angles also. But, yeah.
And
he's a big body. They kind of said everything. Yeah. He got what he wanted. He was crisp in his routes, and they fed him the ball, and there was nothing that the UNT secondary could basically do to stop him.
Now, on the offensive side of the ball, Mason Fine, he did have those 2 interceptions, but he had 424 total yards and 3 touchdowns. What did you see from Mason Fine? I know that first interception he looked like he got tunnel vision, but then his second one, it was batted at the line and looked like maybe just an unlucky bounce for him. What were your guys' thoughts about Mason Fine?
I mean, I got to talk about the guys in front of Mason Fine. I feel like they didn't do a good job protecting him in the beginning. You know, as the game went on, he started to make some plays. I saw they started making some adjustments, but overall, I'd say it's a solid game considering he had a career high in yards. And
I agree. I agree with Jordan. Mason Fine has taken a lot of sacks since he's become the starter here at North Texas. He was sacked 5 times last week, and I think Mason Fine's game, it's not bad, it's not great, it's just fine.
Roosevelt Smart was 4 of 12, and it really helped that Ryan Woolridge scored 15 points in the second half, but it wasn't enough. And, you know, after the game, Grant McCaslin said, "We've got the experience with close games. You need to be able to hit the reset button and decide not to lose." So he said it perfectly. They've been in so many close games, but they haven't been able to, you know, just go over that hump and try and win those games. And it's always the second half that really affects them. In the first half, they look like a great team.
And going to the women's side, now Terrielle Bradley, she's basically unstoppable. She was first team Conference USA, but I think they're going to have some trouble trying to stop Charlotte and their 66 point per game average.
I think the one thing we're seeing out of both of these teams is they have found their identity. Sadly, though, for both teams, the identity is Roosevelt Smart and Terrielle Bradley. When you have your team based around one player, it can work for you. But when you're in the middle of the pack and you're proving that your bench is not a solidified unit and cannot come in and help you out. I mean, we saw with the women, their highest scorer after Terrielle Bradley didn't average double digits. You can't have that if you're looking to make a run in the tournament, which is why we saw them drop here late in the season, and they ended up losing 4 seeds because of it. I'm looking at Roosevelt Smart just because if UNT has a chance to win a game, it's going to be on his shoulders. Yes, I understand Ryan Woolridge has had just as much impact on the team, but he is more of the assist man going to Roosevelt Smart.